In this video, we're going to look at the SharePoint Get Items action and some common issues with using the filter query feature for yes/no columns in a SharePoint list. In SharePoint, there is a type of list column called a yes/no column. Notice that this type of column requires a default value of yes or no, and itself defaults to yes if not updated. Columns of this type appear as a check mark as shown here. We're going to use this SharePoint list, which has some sample records for us to work with. This simple list includes the default title column and our yes/no column. For this demo, we have a simple flow with 3 actions: a manual trigger, the SharePoint Get Items action, and a select action to make it easier to view the output of the Get Items action. Now let's look at the Get Items action in more detail. Here we have both the site specified and our test list selected. The filter query parameter lets us limit the results to just those records which meet the specified criteria. Since the Get Items action will return JSON data that must be downloaded, we'll make it easier to view the results of this flow using the select, which will show us only the title and yes/no column values directly. So let's go ahead and run the flow, but initially we'll leave the filter query section empty. Let's talk about the data for a moment. Referring to the records by title, the set to yes record was created directly in SharePoint with yes/no columns value left as the default value, or checked. The set to no record was created directly in SharePoint with the yes/no column explicitly unchecked. The no value specified record was actually created from a flow with a value of yes/no column not specified, which resulted in the yes/no column taking on the default value of checked. For the record titled created before yes/no column added, the yes/no column was added after the record was created. This resulted in a value of null or no value being assigned to yes/no column for that record. The default value only applies to records created after the column is added. The existence of null values presents us with a third case to consider when creating a filter query. Now let's create a filter query that returns only the records where yes/no column is checked. To accomplish this, it might seem intuitive to add a filter where yes/no column equals yes. Based on the results we've seen so far, it would also make sense to use the Boolean value of true instead of yes, but neither will actually return the expected results. In this example, I'm going to remove the quotes so that we can get the Boolean value of true instead of the text alone. Now let's run it and see what the results are. Here, instead of getting the 2 checked values that we expect, we actually get an unchecked record. The solution to this issue is that we actually need to filter for the number 1 to get checked values. Again, here I'm removing the quotes so that we get a numeric 1 and not text. Here you can see we get the 2 checked records as expected. Now let's create a filter query that gives us the unchecked records by using a value of 0. As you can see, we are missing the null valued record. To resolve this, we need to test for both 0 and null in our filter query. As shown here, our results now include both unchecked records. In summary, filter queries involving yes/no columns require a particular syntax to return the expected results. You must also be aware of null-valued records in your list so you can decide how to include them or exclude them from your results depending upon your business requirements. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you need immediate assistance with your project, please use the link in the description to schedule a one-on-one coaching session. We'll have a Zoom call to troubleshoot your issues and discuss any questions you may have.